Hello, everybody. I am Ms. Jenny. So, for this afternoon, we'll be discussing about, or we will be rationalizing about the question regarding the professional education. So, without further ado, let's start. So, the first question is: Teacher Christine does norm reference interpretation of scores. Which of the following does she do? Is it letter A? She describes group performance in relation to a level of mastery set. B. She uses a specified content as its frame of reference. Letter C. She compares every individual student's scores with other scores. Letter D. She describes what should be their performance. Or letter E. None of the above. So when we say norm reference, so it compares a student's performance to a group of other students. When we say criterion, it means it compares a student's performance to a set of standards. So about the question, it says there that a norm reference interpretation of scores. So therefore, from the choices we have, we can say that the answer is letter C. She compares every individual student's score with the other scores. Okay, let's have number two. Which of the following best implements research-based learning? Is it letter A, PowerPoint, letter B, whole class discussion, letter C, information data gathering, letter D, intensive sit work, or letter E, none of the above? So when we say implements or research-based learning, when you say research-based learning, it is a teaching method that encourages students to actively participate in a discussion. So therefore, when we say actively participate in discussion, um, the correct answer would be letter letter C, information data gathering. From the word itself, research, so we can already conclude that the answer is information data gathering. Okay, let's proceed to the next number, which is number 3. Under the Republic Act 7722 or the Higher Education Act of 1994, which agency identifies, supports, and develops Center of Excellence among higher education institutions in the country? Is it letter A, Department of Education, letter B, Professional Board for Teachers, letter C, Commission on Higher Education, letter D, Teacher Education Council, or letter E, none of the above? So from the question itself, Higher Education Act of 1994. So among the choices, we can say the answer is letter C, which is the Commission on Higher Education. So when we are talking about RA 7722, so this is the act that established Commission on Higher Education, or the CHED. So therefore, the correct answer is letter C, Commission on Higher Education. Let's have number 4. Teacher John views his students as unique, free-choosing, and responsible individuals. All classroom activities evolve around the said premise. What theory underlies this? Is it letter A, essentialism, letter B, existentialism, letter C, progressivism, letter D, realism, or letter E, none of the above? So the question itself is a unique, students as unique, free choosing, and responsible individuals. When we say, okay, the correct answer is letter B, existentialism. So why? When we say essentialism, it talks about like back to basic, right? Or the academic subjects. When we say existentialism, so this is where our freedom belongs. So here in the questions, you have unique, free choosing, and responsible individuals. So we have a right to a freedom. So we have a right to choose our own will. And when we say progressivism, so this is a social reform. So when you say social reform, it changes in our society. When you say realism, so it talks about the importance of objective truth. So in realism, they only consider, or in a perspective of realism, it only considers a truth. Okay, so therefore, the correct answer is letter B, existentialism. Okay, let's proceed to the next number. We have number 5. Scouting and Citizens Training, or CAT, give training in character building, citizenship training, and etc., which leads to the creation of a new social order and a new society eventually. What philosophy supports this? Is it letter A, existentialism, letter B, progressivism, letter B, perennialism, letter C, progressivism, letter D, social reconstructionism, or letter E, none of the above? So when we are talking about scouting and citizens army training, or CAT, and it says here leads to creation of new social order and a new society eventually. So from the word itself, new social order or new society, we can already conclude that the correct answer is letter. Okay, very good. It's letter D, social reconstructionism. So always look for a clue in answering the question. We should always look for a clue. So for this question, we already have a clue here, which is new social order and a new society. Okay, let's proceed to number 6. So Chris develops an integral and coherent sense of self. He seeks to answer to the question, who am I? Which of the following is Christian likely to develop? Is it letter A, initiative, letter B, identity and role confusion, letter C, intimacy, letter D, autonomy, letter E, none of the above? So this question is related to the social analysis by Eric Erickson. So it has 8 stages. We have the first stage is trust versus mistrust. So what happens to this stage is if needs are dependably met, infant develop a sense of basic trust. The second stage, which is the autonomy versus shame or doubt, in this stage, toddlers learn to exercise will and do things for themselves, or they doubt their abilities. For the third stage, which is initiative versus guilt, preschoolers learn to initiate tasks and carry out plans, or they feel guilty about efforts to be independent. For the fourth stage, we have the industry versus inferiority. So children learn the pleasure of applying themselves to tasks, or they feel inferior. Stage 5, which is identity versus confusion. So, in this stage, teenagers work at refining a sense of self by testing roles and then integrating them to form a single identity, or they become confused about who they are. For the stage 6, we have here intimacy versus isolation. So, young adults struggle to form close relationships and to gain the capacity for intimate love, or they feel socially isolated. For stage 7, this is generativity versus stagnation. So, what happens at this stage? So, the middle age discover a sense of contributing to the world, usually through family and work, or they may feel a lack of purpose. For the eighth stage, which is integrity versus despair, so what happens here is when reflecting on his or her life, the older adult may feel a sense of satisfaction or failure. So, from the question, who am I? So, basically, it talks uh, about identity and role confusion. So, Chris is asking, who am I? So, therefore, he has an identity and role confusion. Okay, let's proceed to number 7. Dr. Escoto, the school physician, conducted a physical examination in Miss Manuel's class. What concept best describes the quantitative increase observed by Dr. Escoto among learners in terms of height and weight? Is it letter A, development, letter B, growth, letter C, learning, letter D, maturation, or letter E, none of the above? So, Dr. Escoto, so we are asking here quantitative increase. Quantitative increase. So when we say growth, it refers to the quantitative increase in physical attributes such as height, weight, and body size. When we are talking about development, it involves qualitative changes, including cognitive, emotional, and social progress. When we talk about maturation, it refers to the natural unfolding of biological potential over time, often linked to genetic factors. When we say about learning, it pertains to acquiring knowledge, skills, or behavior through experience or education. So, from the question itself, quantitative increase, therefore, the correct answer is letter B, it's growth. Let's proceed to the next number. We have here number 8. Which of the following learners' characteristic will affect most of the learner's learning in the academic class? Is it letter A, his affective characteristic? Letter B, his cognitive characteristic? Letter C, his psychomotor characteristics? Letter D, his socio-emotional characteristics? Or letter E, none of the above? So from the question itself, learning in the academic class. So we need to look for the choices that is related to academics. So from the choices, we can conclude that the correct answer is letter B, his cognitive characteristics. Okay, so now let's proceed to the next number. Okay, we have here number 9. Teacher Sunny, a values education teacher, emphasizes ethics in almost all his lessons. Which of the following emphasizes the same? Okay, ethics emphasizes ethics. Is it letter A, liberal education? Letter B, moral education? Letter C, religious training? Letter D, social education? Or letter E, none of the above? So, the teacher emphasizes ethics. Okay, let's see. When we talk about liberal education, it centers on broad knowledge, critical thinking, and intellectual skills rather than a specific focus on ethics. So, therefore, liberal education is not the correct answer. When we are talking about social education, it deals with preparing individuals to participate effectively in society but does not necessarily emphasize ethics. So, therefore, social education is also not the correct answer. When we are talking about religious training, it is specific to teaching the doctrines and practices of a particular faith, which may include ethics but with a religious framework. So therefore, the correct answer is letter B, moral education. So when you say moral education, it focuses on teaching ethics, values, and principles of right and wrong. Okay? Correct answer is letter B. Let's go to number 10. Teacher Jen says, if billiard that brings students out of the classroom, let us bring it into the classroom. Perhaps I can use it to teach math. To which philosophy does teacher Jen adhere? Is it letter A, essentialism, letter B, idealism, letter C, progressivism, letter D, reconstructionism, or letter E, none of the above? So let's break down the choices. So when you say progressivism, it emphasizes experiential learning, student interest, and practical application of knowledge. When we say essentialism, it focuses on teaching foundational knowledge and traditional academic skills, often through a structured curriculum, rather than adapting to student interest. When we say idealism, it is centered on teaching eternal truth and abstract concepts, emphasizing ideas over practical application. When we say reconstructionism, it advocates for using education to address social issues and promote societal change. So from this, we can conclude that the correct answer is letter C, progressivism, because it applies practical application of knowledge, which is bringing billiard into the classroom. Okay, the correct answer is letter C, progressivism. Let's have number 11. A student passes a book report poorly written but ornately presented in a folder to make up for the poor quality of book report content. Which Filipino traits does this practice prove? Okay, so for this question, we already know that arts over academics and arts over science and none of the above is not the correct answer because these are not traits of Filipinos. So therefore, we are left with letter A and letter B. When you say forma over substance, it means that a student emphasizes the design or the aesthetic of a project rather than the content or what is inside that project. When you also say substance over forma, the student emphasizes what is content or what is written in that project rather than the design or the aesthetic of the project. So therefore, from this, we can conclude that the correct answer is letter A, forma over substance. Okay, let's proceed to number 12. So Miss May is an excellent physical education teacher. She started teaching volleyball to her grade 2 class. Despite all her efforts, her class does not seem to learn how to play the game. What law of learning was disregarded? Is it letter A, law of disuse, letter B, law of effect, letter C, law of exercise, letter D, law of readiness, or letter E, none of the above? So let's break down these law first. So when we say law of disuse, it suggests that skills not practiced will deteriorate over time. When you say law of effect, it emphasizes that positive outcome reinforce learning while negative experiences hinder it. When we say law of exercise, highlights the importance of practice in learning, but the problem is not about the amount of practice, but rather the problem is not, but rather the student's readiness. When we say law of readiness, it states that learning is most effective when a learner is mentally and physically prepared to engage with the task. So from the question or from the situation that Miss May teach physical education or started teaching volleyball to her grade 2 class, can we say that these grade 2 students are already mentally and physically prepared to learn volleyball? So, right? Okay, so therefore we can conclude that the correct answer is letter D, law of readiness, because the students are not yet ready physically and mentally to learn about volleyball. We can conclude. Okay, let's have number 13. Okay, question number 13. Miss Claire, in her biology class, accompanies her discussion with interesting visual aids. She strongly believes that students learn better when lessons are presented with images, real or imagined aside from mere lecture method. Which learning theory does she upholds? Is it letter A, dual coding theory, letter B, information processing theory, letter C, meaningful reception learning theory, letter D, social cognitive theory, or letter E, none of the above? So let's break down this theory. So when you say dual coding theory, it suggests that people learn better when information presented using verbal, spoken or written words, and nonverbal visual aids, images, or formats. When we say information processing theory, it focuses on how information is encoded, stored, and retrieved, but does not specifically emphasize the use of visual alongside verbal methods. When we say meaningful reception learning theory by David Ausubel, it emphasizes organizing and presenting information in ways that are connected to what learners already know, but it does not highlight the use of visuals. When we say social cognitive theory, it's by Bandura. It emphasizes learning through observation, modeling, and interaction within a social context. So, therefore, from this, we can conclude that the correct answer is letter A, dual coding theory. Okay, let's proceed to number 14. In a social studies class, teacher A presents a morally ambiguous situation and asks his students what they would do. On whose theory is teacher A's technique based? Is it letter A, Kohlberg, letter B, Bandura, letter C, Piaget, letter D, Brunner, letter E, none of the above? So for this question, the correct answer would be letter B, Bandura. So why? It's because Albert Bandura is known for his social learning theory, which emphasizes that people learn behaviors, values, and attributes through observation, imitation, and modeling. So, Teacher A's approach involves asking students what they would do in a morally ambiguous situation, to explore their observational learning or their exposure to modeled behaviors. Then uh, the technique is associated with the theory of Bandura. So therefore, the correct answer is letter B. Let's have number 15. According to Braun Fenbrenner, what system contains structures that has direct contact with the child? Is it letter A, chronosystem, letter B, exosystem, letter C, mesosystem, letter D, microsystem, or letter E, none of the above? So for number 15, the correct answer is microsystem. So when you say microsystem, it includes direct relationship and interactions like family, peers, and teachers. So when you say chronosystem, it refers to changes over time, including life transitions and historical events affecting the child. When we say exosystem, it involves external environments that indirectly influence a child, like parents' workplace. When you say mesosystem, the interactions between elements of the microsystem, like how parents and teachers collaborate. Okay, so the correct answer is letter D, microsystem. Let's have number 16. Clara excels in dancing and certain sports. According to Gardner, what intelligence is dominant in Clara? Of course, from the question itself, dancing and in certain sports, therefore, we can conclude that uh, the intelligence that is dominant in Clara is letter A, bodily kinesthetic. Dancing and certain sports belongs to bodily kinesthetic. Okay, number 17. MJ is looking for an organized instructional program in which the teacher and learners can be physically separated. Which of the following will she choose? Okay, so the question is physically separated. So therefore, the correct answer is distance education. Let's have number 18. Ruth's son uses projected visuals such as OHP in presenting his lesson. What could be his main reason in using such an educational technology? Is it letter A, the materials are readily available? Letter B, most visuals can be obtained at no cost. Letter C, it is more abstract than any other visuals. Or letter D, he can easily prepare her own or his own transparencies in advance. Or letter E, none of the above. So when you say OHP, the correct answer would be letter C. Letter D, he can easily prepare her own transparencies in advance. So OHP stands for Overheard Projector. So this allows the professor to prepare and organize transparencies in advance. So this flexibility is often a key reason for using this technology, as it allows for the customization of lessons with clear, pre-prepared materials. Okay, let's proceed to number 19. Grace is bilingual. She speaks both English and Filipino fluently. She begins to study Spanish and immediately recognizes many similarities between the Spanish and Filipino languages and uses this information to acquire the new language faster. What kind of transfer was Grace able to use? So the correct answer is letter C, specific transfer. Okay, when we say lateral transfer, so this transfer refers to a skills or knowledge between two similar tasks or contexts, often at the same level. So it's not necessarily related to a language. So when we say general transfer, so it involves applying knowledge or skills learned in one area to a broad general situation. So not necessarily specific to a single context. When we say vertical transfer, so it refers to applying learned knowledge or skills at one level to a more advanced or complex level of the same task. So when we say specific transfer, it occurs when knowledge or skills learned in one's specific area are applied directly to related area, especially when they are similar. So just like in the question, Grace noticed that there are similarities between Spanish and Filipino languages. So therefore, she applied this knowledge to learn the language easily and faster. Okay, so therefore, the correct answer is letter C, specific transfer. Let's proceed to number 20. Sean is a transferee and feels uneasy with his new school. His teacher is very accommodating, warm, and caring. Sean felt comfortable with the teacher's display of genuine warmth. The teacher is consistent in his manner, and Sean began to associate school with the teacher's warmth. Which theory is being illustrated? Is it letter A, meaningful learning? Letter B, operant conditioning? Letter C, classical conditioning? Letter D, observational learning? Or letter E, none of the above? So for this one, the correct answer is letter B, operant conditioning. So in this scenario, operant conditioning as at play because Sean positive feelings and comfort are likely being reinforced by the teacher's warm and caring behavior. The teacher's consistent positive reinforcement through warmth and care helps Sean feel more comfortable in the school environment, increasing the likelihood that he will continue associating school with positive feelings. So therefore, the correct answer is letter B, operant conditioning. Let's have number 21. Teacher Val Marie said, "This is the rule on how to multiply fractions." So to illustrate, let's give examples. Then she gave fractions to the class for them to multiply. How did teacher Val Marie proceed? So this is an easy question. So the correct answer is letter A, deductively, because teacher Val Marie started with a general rule. So she gave the rule first and then proceeded to illustrate it with examples. So this approach is deductive, where a general principle or rule is introduced first, followed by specific examples to apply the rule. Okay, so that's for number 21. Okay, we're almost there. Let's proceed to number 22. Marie is very aloof and cold in her relationships with her classmates. Which basic goal must have not been attained by Marie during her developmental years according to Erikson's theory on psychological development? Is it letter A, autonomy, letter B, trust, letter C, initiative, letter D, generativity, or letter E, none of the above? So we already discussed about the Erik Erikson's theory on psychological development. So therefore, we can say that the correct answer is letter B. So according to Erikson's theory, trust is developed during the first stage of psychosocial development, which is the trust versus mistrust, which occurs in infancy. So if a child doesn't develop trust during this stage, they may struggle with forming close and trusting relationship later in life. Marie's aloofness and coldness could indicate a failure to develop this basic trust in her relationship with others. Okay, so let's proceed to number 23. One of the following quotations does not conform to Christian doctrine of education for humanitarianism. Which one is it? Is it letter A, do unto others as you would like to others do unto you? Letter B, love thy neighbor as thyself. Letter C, not on bread alone is a man to live, but on every utterance that comes from the mouth of God. Or letter D, whatever good things we do to our poor, helpless brothers, we do it for God. Or letter E, none of the above. So for this question, the correct answer would be letter C. Not on bread alone is man to live, but on every utterance that comes from the mouth of God. So this quotation focuses on spiritual nourishment and emphasizes the importance of God's word rather than the humanitarian aspect of education. The other quotations promote love, care, and service to others, aligning more closely with the Christian doctrine of education for humanitarianism, which emphasizes compassion, helping others, and loving one's neighbor. Okay, so therefore the correct answer is letter C. Let's proceed to number 24. With a death threat over his head, teacher Lisa is directed to pass an undeserving student. If she is a hedonist, which of the following will she do? So if teacher Lisa is a hedonist, which of the following will she do? Is it letter A? Don't pass him. Leave her principle of justice. She will get reward if not in this life, in the next. Or letter B, don't pass him. She surely will not like someone to give you a death threat in order to pass. Letter C, pass the students. That will be used to hurt the student and his parents. Or letter D, pass the student. Why suffer the threat? Or letter E, none of the above. When you say a hedonist is someone who seeks pleasure and avoids pain. Avoids pain. So seeks for pleasure and avoids pain. So in this case, teacher Lisa, being hedonist, would like to prioritize avoiding the discomfort and potential harm caused by the death threat, thus choosing to pass the student to avoid the threat, even if it's not based on merit. So therefore, the correct answer is letter D. Pass the students, why suffer the threat? So that's what a hedonist teacher will do. Okay, let's have number 25. So can a student in secondary level tends to spend more time with his friends and his family. Thus, his behavior is greatly affected by them. In which stage and psychological stages of development thus can belong? Is it letter A, autonomous versus shame and doubt? Letter B, identity versus role confusion? Letter C, intimacy versus isolation? Letter D, initiative versus guilt? Or letter E, none of the above? So we already discussed this. Therefore, the correct answer would be letter D, initiative versus guilt. Okay, for 26, Teacher Marie will discuss these questions. Okay, thank you everyone.
Hello future LPTs, this is Marijoy and welcome to our L interview session. For today, we will be rationalizing items 26 to 50 for professional education. Without further ado, let's start. So for number 26, to identify learning needs and respond to such needs, the teacher administers a long test. So what test? Is it A, formative, B, summative, C, periodic, D, diagnostic, or E, none of the above? Okay, so I will give you 5 seconds to think what is the correct answer, okay? So the correct answer is letter D, diagnostic. So when you say formative assessments are ongoing assessments or conducted during the learning process. So always remember formative during the learning process, okay? Conducted during the learning process. Okay, so summative is to measure the overall learning after the lesson or unit. So if formative is during the learning process, summative is after the lesson or unit. Always remember that. Letter C, periodic. So mo siya ating tawag periodical test. Okay? And it is usually given at intervals and are not necessarily designed to diagnose learning difficulties. Okay? So again, formative during, summative after the lesson, periodic is interval. Okay? So diagnostic is the correct answer because it is specifically designed to identify students' learning needs, strengths, weaknesses, and areas requiring improvement. And it is usually given before instruction begins, okay? Before. So the answer is letter D, diagnostic. Let's proceed. Okay, so number 27. What instructional material is or are most fit in contextualized learning? Is it A, TV, B, slides, C, field trip, D. Pictures, or letter E. None of the above. So your 5 seconds starts now. Time's up. So the correct answer is letter C. Okay, so what is contextualized learning behind? So it means learning in a way that relates to real life situation. So for example, instead of a student just learning math concept abstractly, students may apply those learning to real life problems. Okay, so that is what we call contextualized learning. So obviously the letter A, B, and D are all forms of visual materials and they do not provide the real world or experiential learning that letter C can offer. Okay, which is a key feature of contextualized learning. Okay, so okay, number 20. When a case of child abuse is filed by parents, what law applies? Okay, letter A, Republic Act 760, B, Republic Act 7863, letter C, Republic Act 7422, or letter D, Republic Act 7650, letter E, none of the above. So your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, time is up. Is letter A, Republic Act 7610. Okay, what is Republic Act 7863? So this act is about family courts, which handles cases involving family issues. Again, 7863 is about family courts. Okay, Republic Act 7422 pertains to special protection of children in situation of armed conflict. Again, 7422 Special Protection of Children in Situation of Armed Conflict. So it is not directly for child abuse cases. Okay, letter D, Republic Act 7650. This is focused on special cases, and also the same with other Republic Act. It is not specifically on child abuse. So the correct answer is letter A, Republic Act 7610, which primarily deals with special protection of children against abuse, exploitation, and discrimination. Okay, so the correct answer is 29. So okay, number 29, according to Krathwohl's affective domain of objectives, blank is the lowest level of affective behavior. Is it letter A, valuing, B, responding, C, organizing, D, characterizing, or letter E, none of the above? Okay, so your 5 seconds starts now. So the correct answer is letter B. As we can see, I have here a picture of Krathwohl's affective domain of objectives. As you can see, the receiving or attending is in the lower part or the lowest level of affective behavior. Next is responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. But in the question number 29, the lowest level of affective behavior na naadto to is letter B, responding. Okay? Pero ang pinaka-lowest truth is receiving or attending. Okay, number 30, which is the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. Letter A, RA 10533, B, RA 10157, letter C, RA 8371, or letter D, RA 10647, and E, none of the above. So your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. So the correct answer for number 30, which is the Enhanced Basic Education, letter A, RA 10533. Okay, so what is RA 10157? So this Republic Act is the Kindergarten Education Act. RA 8371 is the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act, and RA 10647 is the law concerning the strengthening of the liberalized education program. Okay, again, letter B is Secondary Guardian Education Act, which is RA 10157, and letter C, RA 8371, Indigenous People Rights Act, and letter D, Federalized Education Program. So the correct answer is letter A, RA 10533, which is known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2030, okay, which implement the K-12 education system. 31. Which one is an alternative learning delivery system where an itinerant teacher, with the use of the modules, teaches a small group of pupils for a week, then moves to another community to the next week? Is it letter A, tent school, B, mobile teacher, letter C, para teacher, letter D, multi-grade, or E, none of the above? Okay, your 5 seconds starts now. Letter B, mobile or mobile teacher. Okay, so what is tent school then? Okay, so I know you all know, or we all know what is tent, right? So it is not built for permanent. Okay, so when we say tent school, it refers to a temporary educational structure set up in emergency or remote areas. So it is not built to permanent, okay, temporary siya. Wherein para teacher, it refers to a teacher who is not fully qualified but helps with teaching duties. Okay, that is what we call para teacher. Hindi pa siya fully qualified, but the teacher helps with teaching duties. Okay, letter D, multi-grade. This refers to a classroom with students of different grade levels being taught together. Okay, so different grade levels that is being taught together. That is multi-grade. So the correct answer is letter B, mobile teacher, which means the teacher travel between communities to teach using modules to help. Then number 32. What does describes the breadwinner mentality versus excellence in work or service? Is it A, arduous preparation, B, committed work, C, resignation to mediocrity, D, striving to be the best, or letter E, none of the above? Your 5 seconds starts now. Time. Okay, letter C, resignation to mediocrity. Okay, so this mentality, which is the breadwinner mentality, it refers to settling for mediocrity or minimal effort, which is the opposite of striving excellence. Okay, it is like accepting that being ordinary or average is okay, even if you can give your best, even if you can be better. That is the resignation to mediocrity or the breadwinner mentality. Okay, it is obvious that letter A, B, C, which is the arduous preparation, committed work, and striving to be the best, are all reflect effort towards excellence, not mediocrity. Okay, so the correct answer is letter C. Number 33. Okay. Teacher Diane teaches in a remote area. In order not to incur salary reduction, she does not file her leave of absence every time she gets absent. Anyway, she uses the amount which is supposed to be deducted from her salary on account of her absence to buy pencils and paper for the poor pupils in her class. Is teacher Diane wrong? Letter A. Yes, the poor students are benefited. Letter B. No, the end does not justify the means. Letter C. Yes, the amount is little compared to the million of pesos stolen by corrupt government officials. Letter D. Yes, she is not the only one benefited by her action. Or letter E. Both A and C. Okay, your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, time's. Okay, so the answer is letter D. No, the end does not justify the means. Okay, so while teacher Diane's intention is to help students, her actions are still unethical, as avoiding leave, failing to prevent salary deductions, violate school policy. Okay, so A, C, and D doesn't justify violating policy. So the best answer is letter B. Next, number 34. Number 34. Each activity is characterized by a relationship of mutual trust and respect, with individuals agreeing to observe each other's teaching and solving problems together. A. Group dynamics. B. Peer evolution. C. Brainstorming. D. Mentoring. Or letter E. None of the above. So your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, so letter D. Mentoring. So what is group dynamics? From the word group. So it's a broader term for how groups interact. Okay? So there will be peer evaluation. So when we say peer, it is a assessment of or evaluation of your peer or others' work, but it does not emphasize collaborative or it does not emphasize supportive aspect of mentoring. Let us see brainstorming. Brainstorming is an idea generation technique and it is not mentoring activity. So the best answer for this question is letter D, mentoring, which involves mutual support and guidance where one individual provides advice and feedback to another. Okay, so this is typically in a teaching context. Okay, so number 35. Teacher Marie wants her pupils to master the multiplication table. Which activity is most fit? A. Game. B. Simulation. C. Drill. D. Reflection. Or letter E. None of the above. So your 5 seconds starts now. Letter C. Drill. Okay, so this question is very common in your exam. So when you say drill, it involves repetitive practice, which is effective for memorizing things like that, like in the question multiplication table. Okay, so letter A, game, letter B, simulation, and the reflection are not focused enough on repetition and mastery in the specific case. Okay, especially in letter D, reflection, it is more about thinking and understanding, not memorizing. Okay, 36, which is a graphic representation of numerical data. A. Histogram. D. Venn diagram. C. Spider map. Or letter D. Attribute build or E. Not build. So your 5 seconds starts now. Letter A. Histogram. Okay. So as you can see, ibigay na ako og pictures each choices para ma-visualize niyo o makita niyo kung saan siya na graphical presentation. Okay? So letter A, histogram. So that kanang nakita nga picture nga nag-blue nga bar, na taas na bar, na low bar, that is histogram. So it is a graphical representation of data distribution and is used to present numerical data. For example, ganahan ka mabuan if o ganahan mo i-graph ang population. So for example, last year na population is bubo siya. Next year, population is nitaas na siya. And the next year, sa population, if taas mo siya or bubo pa siya. So, makatabang siya nga representation to identify if the population is increase or decrease. Okay? So, Venn diagram, it is used to show relationship between sex. So, Venn diagram, as you can see there, na iduha ka circle na nag-overlap. So, it helps to contrast two things. Okay? Letter C, spider map. It is a diagram for organizing ideas or concept, not numerical data. So as you can see below the choices, there is a spider map. Mo siya ang picture or inana ang spider map where as you can see na siya mga branches ng mga spider. Na siya mga kamot-kamot. Okay? So letter D, attribute wheel from the word wheel. So mo siya for example, your categorizing information. Okay, that is attribute wheel. So the correct answer is letter A, histogram, presentation of numerical data. 7. Okay, number 37, which approach makes you think of your thinking? Okay, A, constructivist. B, cognitive. C, metacognitive. Letter D, integrative. Or letter E, none of the above. So your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, Time's up. Letter C, metacognitive. So also this question is very known or given by recognition sa mga review session. So letter A, constructivist, it focuses on building knowledge or creating knowledge through experiences. Okay, while cognitive, it focuses on how our brain processes information, but does not involve reflecting on the process itself. Okay, letter B, integrity. So this involves combining knowledge from different domains and is not specifically about reflecting on thinking. Okay, so the correct answer is letter C. Metacognitive means or it refers to thinking about one's own thinking processes to improve learning strategies. Okay, yes. Okay, so let's proceed to the number 30. Which of the following are alternative assessments? A. Portfolio exhibits journals. Letter B. Paper and pencil test, demonstration, reports. Letter C. Multiple choice, structured observation, sentence completion. Letter D. Self-assessment, authentic assessment, or surveys. Or letter E. None of the above. Okay, your timer starts now. Okay, time. Letter A. Portfolio exhibits journals. Okay. Letter B. Paper and pencil test. And letter C. Multiple choice or obviously traditional assessments. Okay. While letter D. Self-assessment, authentic assessment, and surveys, it includes some alternative methods, but letter A, which is a portfolio exhibit journals, are more clearly alternative assessment. Okay. Letter A are considered alternative assessment because they allow students to demonstrate their learning in various formats beyond traditional tests. Okay, letter E is correct answer. Okay, next, number 39. Okay, 39. How can a teacher enhance her or his questioning technique for an effective teacher or student interaction? Okay, again, how can a teacher enhance her or his questioning technique for an effective teacher-student interaction? Okay, letter A, allow sufficient think time, at least 7 to 10 seconds. Letter B, extend wait time until the student responds. Letter C, immediately call another student in case one cannot answer. Letter D, you may answer your own question if no one can. Or letter E, none of the above. Okay, so what do you think is the best answer for this question? Okay, your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, so time. Letter A allows sufficient think time, at least 7 to 10 seconds. Okay, so this is the best answer because letter B, extend wait time until the student responds. This is not the answer because if mag-wait dahil students until makatubag siya, what if tugay ka siya makatubag, then waste ang time if magbinaabot na. Okay, so it is similar, yes, it is similar to letter A, but not as specific as giving 7 to 10 seconds. Okay, letter C and letter D, it discourages student thinking and it doesn't promote or it do not promote engagement. So the best answer is allow sufficient think time, this 7 to 10 seconds. Although hindi ka siya mataas, but it is very helpful, especially to students because mag-process should be sila sa information and really good sila maka-answer tayo na yun. Okay? Let's proceed. Number 40. Teacher Sheena asked one student, when can you summarize what we have just read? Remember the title of the section of the chapter. This is an example of a teacher's effort at blank. A. Scaffolding. B. Inspiring. C. Directing. D. Giving feedback. Or letter A. None of the above. Okay? Your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, so the correct answer. Okay, so when we say scaffolding, it refers to providing support or temporary support to help students build their understanding. In this case, the teacher is guiding the students to make sense of the content by prompting them to summarize it. Okay, learning is inspiring, does not feel fast. The teacher is not motivating the student to take action on their own, but is assisting with comprehension. Okay, literacy directing, it involves giving instructions, but in this case, the teacher is more about guiding through questioning, not directing. Okay, directing, giving feedback. It is focused on evaluating student performance, whereas scaffolding is about actively helping students as they do. So the best answer is scaffolding. Therapy. Okay. Next question, number 41. Okay. So in the taxonomy of learning objectives of or outcomes, which relates to judging in terms of internal evidences or evidence, or logical consistency or external evidence consists with A. Evaluation, B. Receiving, C. Evaluating, D. Application, or E. Non-failure. We have 5 seconds starts now. Okay, sound off. So the correct answer is letter E, evaluation. So we have no words in the question, which is the word judging, meaning evaluate. No? You are making judgment based on evidence, whether it is internal or external. Okay? When we say receiving, as you all know, receiving is the lowest level in affective domain, involving passive attention or awareness. So, nag-receive ka. When we say valuing, it involves attaching value to certain behavior or ideas. So, evaluation judge. Thirdly, application. It is about using, applying, learned material in different situations. So, not judging evidence or consistency. So, the best answer is letter A, evaluation. Evaluate. Number 42. When instruction in the curriculum focuses on the mastery of the content and evaluation that follows measures only the knowledge learned, such curriculum design is blank. A. Learner-centered, B. Subject-centered, C. Problem-centered, D. Teacher-centered, or E. None of the above. Okay? Your 5 seconds starts now. The answer is letter B. Subject-centered. Okay? We have no words in the question focuses on the mastery of the content. Okay, so when we say subject-centered curriculum, it focuses on mastery of content with assessment designed to measure the student's knowledge and understanding of that content. Okay, subject. Where in learner-centered, meaning focuses on the needs and interests of the learners, not just on the content. Okay, letter C, problem-centered. Okay, it focuses on real-life world issues or problems. You can ask the keyword problem, okay, rather than strictly on the content mastery. Okay, again, it focuses on real-world issues or problems. In the word problem-centered. Okay, letter B, teacher-centered. It is a model where the teacher controls the learning process but does not necessarily relate to content mastery focused approach. Okay, so the best answer is letter B, subject-centered. 3. The number 14. Do not cheat. Cheating does not pay. If you do, you cheat yourself, says the voiceless voice from within you. In the context of frauds theory, which is or are at work. Letter A, ego, B, superego, C, eat, D, eat and contract, E, none of the above. Okay, your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, the correct answer is letter B, superego. So I have here a picture of frauds theory. Okay, so eat. When we say eat, basic instincts, okay? It represents unconscious desires and instincts which do not align with a moral message against cheating. Wherein echo, it's just the reality. It deals with rational decision making and handling reality, but in this case, it's more about moral reasoning than the ego's typical conflict resolution. Okay? The third one is ego, which is the moral and virtues. Okay? It is in Freud's theory. It represents the moral conscience or conscience, the part of the mind that pushes a person to behave ethically and morally, which is reflected in the warning against cheating. So the correct answer is the super ego, right? Okay, so next, even in the process of teaching, teacher Chandra finds out if her students understand what she is teaching. What is teacher Chandra engaged in? A. Summative evaluation. B. Formative evaluation. C. Criterion reference evaluation. D. Norm reference. Or letter E. None of the above. Okay, your 5 seconds starts now. Time's up. So as you can see, or as you can see in the question, teacher Chira wants to find out if her student understand what she is teaching. So meaning like after she teach the lesson, the discussion, she conduct this assessment to formative. Again, what is formative? It is assessment conducted during the learning process. Okay, so when we say formative evaluation, it refers to assessment that occur during the learning process and to monitor students' progress and understanding in real time. And also it allows for adjustment to teaching. Okay? Letter A is summative. Kunin kanina, summative is the end of learning period or at the end of a lesson on the legacy criterion reference evaluation. It assesses student performance based on specific criteria. Okay, from the word criteria. And actually, specific criteria or evaluate ang student based on criteria. Okay, letter norm reference it compares students' performance to others, which is not the focus of understanding the students' progress in the marketing. So the best answer for this question is letter B, formative evaluation. Number 45. In which type of classroom climate can students participate in the kind of learning to live together? Okay, learning to live together. Okay. Letter A, in competitive classrooms. B, in democratic classrooms. C, individualistic classrooms. D, in autocratic classrooms. Or D or E, none of the above. Okay, your 5 seconds starts now. The correct answer is letter B, in democratic climate. So when we say democratic, meaning it fosters a culture of mutual respect or collaboration and shared decision making where students learn how to work together harmoniously. Okay? Where in competitive classroom, here is the students are competing each other. No, they are competing against each other, which is not conducive to collaboration or learning to live together. So X na ang letter A. Letter C, in individualistic. So your individual meaning individual students work independently, limiting their opportunities for collaborative learning. So out na letters. Letter D, in autocratic classroom, where the teacher is in complete control, meaning control students, leaving little room for shared decision making or collaboration. Meaning, the teacher, ang teacher ang nag-control sa students and the students, dili kayo sila maka number 46. So, teacher Joy wants to teach the class rules in playing volleyball. Which method is appropriate? Okay, letter A, direct instruction. B, problem solving. C, discovery. D, inductive reasoning. Or letter E, none of the above. So your 5 seconds starts now. Time's up. So the correct The correct answer is letter A, direct instruction. So, when you say direct instruction, it is appropriate method for teaching specific rules. Okay, so we are talking about uh, class rules in playing volleyball. Okay, so direct instruction involves step-by-step explanation and demonstration, meaning direct instruction is the best answer for this question, as teaching or teaching the rules in playing volleyball um, involves demonstration on how to play the game. Okay, problem solving, obviously problem solving, the word problem, it is involving figuring out solution to issues, but yeah, it is not the best method for directly teaching rules. There's C, discovery. It is an inquiry-based approach where it's best for allowing students to find out information on their own and the word discover. So the students will discover on their own. But for rules, direct instruction is more effective. Okay? Narrative inductive reasoning is used for generalizing principles from specific examples, but teaching rules in volleyball requires clear and explicit instruction, so this is not the correct answer. So meaning the best is indirect instruction. Number 47. To respond to the needs of industry, which one does school focus on? A. Technical skills. B. Humanities. C. Basic literacy skills. D. Social relations. E. None of the above. So, the 5 seconds starts now. Time up. The correct answer is letter A. Technical skills. So why not humanities? Why not basic literacy skills? And why not social relations? So, if we have technical skills, which is skills that are critical for responding to the needs of various industries, it ensures students are prepared for the workforce with the relevant skills. So these skills are very essential for preparing students to meet the demands of the workforce in various industries. Okay, so these skills are very crucial. Okay, and our needs of various industries. Okay, humanities. When you say humanities, it focus more on culture, literature, and philosophy, which may not directly meet immediate industry needs. Let me see basic literacy skills. Although this is good or are important, but this is not specifically tailored to industry needs in terms of technical expertise. Okay, thirdly, social relations. So, I don't know social relations are important for personal development, but it does not or it do not directly address the needs of industry. Okay, so the best answer is letter A, technical skills. Let's proceed to number 48. So number 48. Okay, number 48. After having been narrated by teacher Sarah, student Paul evaluates that teacher teaches very poorly despite teacher Sarah's good teaching performance. So which trait is illustrated by the student Baron's behavior? A. Rationalism. B. Personalism. C. Impersonalism. D. Particularism, or E. None of the above. So your 5 seconds starts now. So the correct answer is letter B, personalism. So when you say personalism, it occurs when an individual's judgment is influenced by personal feelings or experiences rather than the objective qualities of the situation. So in this case, Baron's negative evaluation to teacher Sarah is based on his personal feelings rather than teacher Sarah's actual performance. Okay, so letter A, rationalism. 49. Teacher Ara, an experienced teacher, does daily reviews of past lessons. Why? A. To introduce a new lesson. B. To the correct answer is letter C. To provide his pupils with a sense of wholeness and continuity. Okay, so daily reviews help reinforce lessons, providing a sense of continuity and helping students to connect the lessons from past. Okay, okay, so it connects past knowledge to new information. So its students connect new knowledge to what they learned before, giving them a sense of continuity and making learning feel more classy. So last question. Number 8. To give opportunity for bonding and sharing, which approach can be of help? A. Exploratory learning approach. B. Cooperative learning approach. Letter C. Constructivist approach. Letter D. Discovery approach. Or E. None of the above. Okay, there are 5 seconds starts now. Letter B. So we have two words here to give opportunity for bonding and sharing. Okay, so um, letter A, exploratory. It focuses more on